Hey everyone, Coach Wolverine coming at you with Coach Kelowna for another conversation over drinks. Today we are here at the lovely My Recovery Lab where we're going to do a legitimate ice dip today. And because it is too small for both of us to go together, Kyle has volunteered to go first.
Sort of volunteered.
Sort of. We lost timers. So we were only allowed a maximum of 10 minutes.
Reason being is, without getting into the research, after about 10 minutes, then your diminishing returns, so the benefits to being in here, start to decrease for your time. Yep, this sucks. Son of a bitch.
So this is also my first time at this location. Kyle has done this before. We're getting to the just 1 minute.
We're in it.
All right, and what was the topic pressing on your mind this week?
Okay. So, in summary, intensity versus consistency, and you've heard us say it a million times, consistency wins every time. And the idea there with intensity is when we start to get into that, just one more, I need one more day, I need this to happen, I need that to happen, I need to buy this, do this, drink this, purchase this. The next thing is going to make me elevate to the level where I can go all in. Every single time you do that, you continuously give up progress, because every single day that you procrastinate, nope.
So it's very much the same as when you say the comments, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I have the six pack, I'll be happy when I have the car, I'll be happy when I have the house, I'll be happy when I have the money, right? When we're constantly striving for more instead of realizing that we have to listen to ourselves, our minds, listen to our bodies, and there are days, rest is just as important as action. Play is just as important as work. This goes 100% for both everything sport related and everything mindset related. So when we get into ourselves in this mind space where we have to always do more, strive, I have to do more positive habits, whether or not it be meditation practice, whether or not be yoga practice, more in the gym, more healthy food, more this, more that. If we start justifying to ourselves why we have to do anything, we are no longer in alignment with our soul. And it is very important to...
I told you, man. I'm still a bitch with this stuff. I'm doing my best.
Time off is so crucially important, because if we don't take time off to rest, recharge, give ourselves some TLC, some tender love and care, we end up getting burnouts. And when we get burnout, doing stuff like this ends up feeling so much inherently worse. So, you want to add anything?
The biggest thing is like, we're in this constant, and we feel like everyone we're watching on socials and stuff like that, they have the perfect routine, and that's what we want to emulate. But you really gotta know, once you meet these people, the more than you talk to that have had these results, we see a fraction of a second in a picture every day. And their days aren't perfect. They're not hitting home runs every day. It's impossible. And if they are burning out, they're sacrificing social things, they're sacrificing relationships, they're sacrificing finances, like they're sacrificing a lot of the well-rounded portions of wellness for that picture to look like the epitome of whatever. Typically it's fitness, and we know that there's a mask in the fitness community about the reality of it, and then we've got the Hollywood entertainment factor on top of that. But
absolutely,
the reality of it is that's not someone's 24 hours. You can't escape your own 24 hours. You have a 24 hours every single day that you have to work with.
Absolutely. And that's something that actually really bothers me about the self-development industry is the the belief that you have to, be up at 4 a.m. and go to bed at midnight, and you have to grind every single day if you want to get to a version of success. Well, quick little story here. I actually attended a workshop last week, and this is a gentleman who, his style of coaching is very similar to mine. And I only was just introduced to this guy, and I found out a ton about him. This guy used to be a very high corporate accountant, had the nice car, the big house. He was an incredibly good looking dude, very ripped, looked like he could be posted on the cover of a magazine. And in this seminar, he had told us that he had all of these things that social media portrays as the end goal, the epitome of what we're striving for. But he was so massively unconfident and unhappy. He gave everything up, absolutely everything. Got himself into understanding why the journey is more important than the destination. Because if you don't appreciate the journey, moments like this where we put ourselves through hell for some recovery, you're not going to appreciate the end goal. Because if you were unhappy now and you think that you're going to be happy when actually arrives, you're not going to know what the heck to do with it, because you did not build the tools, you did not build the knowledge and the concepts to absolutely value that end goal. So it's a matter of taking a step back and listening to ourselves. You don't have to give it 110% effort in the gym every single day. And nobody does. And the people that do, those are the people that you see that are constantly injured. Those are the people that you see that are constantly, fatigued out of their mind. Other places of their life start crumbling apart. Now, there's something to be said to give it everything that you got. And I understand that. But when you give it everything you got into one aspect of your life, it's one aspect of your life.
There has to be sacrifice elsewhere.
Exactly. Life is balance. We have to balance everything in this life. Otherwise, what's the point?
And there's not to say that there's not a place to go all in on certain things.
Exactly.
When you're doing, like when you follow entrepreneurs, you follow these things. Some people do turn the rest of their life off and go all in and get the results they're looking for, but they went in with a purpose. And you have to go in with a purpose. Get my hat all wet. And you have to go in with a purpose, no matter what you do, so that you can come out the other side and then start rehabilitating the things that you had to give up to get there. Because if you're constantly just like, well, this is what I did to get here, now I just have to continue doing this. If it's just for more money or whatever, you want to get into the wellness of money after $120,000 a year now?
Yeah.
That your actual wellness or well-being quotient that's attached to it does not improve. So there's only a cap on just about everything. That's where all this other stuff starts to come into play.
When it comes to financials, as a rule of thumb, as long as your basic necessities are met by your financial income, your happiness will not increase with more money. It doesn't work like that. And when we give it all in, right? So let's just use the gym for an example, okay? Let's use the sport of powerlifting or bodybuilding. And we still have a little bit of time, minute and a half. So when the term of giving it all in is you have to play just as hard as you're working. You have to rest just as hard as you're working. Otherwise, you're not technically going all in. You're only going partly in with the work aspect, which then leads to burnout, which then leads to failed relationships, which then leads to, distancing yourself from your family, malnutrition. Because, let's face it, a lot of the health industry today is not actually health, and it's more about the aesthetics and look more than it is actually about the health aspect. And so, pulling this back to the mindset stuff, it is absolutely crucial to go easy on yourself, because we are human. We all make mistakes. We all have setbacks. I'm an advocate for meditation. There are mornings where I forget to meditate, meditate, or I just don't feel like it.
Medicate with meditation.
Yeah, exactly. Right. There are days where you're going to feel low. That is okay. It's part of the process.
That's you can't hit a home run every day.
No. And for the self-development gurus out there that really preach the positivity, You know, you can't be positive all the time. That's just absolutely delusional. You know, emotions are 50%,
Yeah.
both sides. And it is a very, very wide spectrum because every single individual has their perception on each emotion, and we have to experience all of them. Otherwise, we start going to the gym to use them as a distraction and Band-Aid numb those feelings. So we're all human, right? The people that we're comparing ourselves to is not worth the stress. It's just not. You are done though, my friend.
Oh God, good, great, thank you. Yeah, I think we've done a bunch on comparisons. Like, there's comparisons for benchmarking. There's comparisons for a lot of stuff, like not feeling your legs. So I can't wait to compare that in 5 minutes. But
You guys ready?
yeah, let's go. He's gonna cruise through it and make me look like a little bitch.
Cannonball?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cold.
It's the penetrating chill of being not ice, I think. That makes it so much worse.
Yep.
Alright. Well, I'm just trying to remember what we talked about while I was in here trying to read. No, so the biggest thing fuck it. With that is like we make these comparisons and we do these things, but like even comparing yourself to someone who's been doing it for 5 years, if you can go back and find the video of week 1, day 1 when they started, and you want to compare it to week 1, day 1, that's going to be a lot better than comparing to year 5, day 300, because it's not realistic. Right? Like, I know we've both been through some pretty big like changes in regards to our fitness and stuff. For myself, like when I started everything, which is like a 60-pound difference from where I'm at right now, it was literally like, hey, I'm just gonna not go out for food and make sure I work out on my lunch break every day. So it was a 40-minute workout and purchasing one less meal basically every day that was prepped and ready to go. And that's it. That's all I started with. It's not like I started with 2 hours in the gym, saunas, cold dips, high intensity training.
See, I did the opposite. I was in the gym for 3 to 4 hours a day, destroying my body because I hated myself. Because I was comparing myself to people that put in years worth of work, whereas I only put in a couple.
So that's kind of the reality, like 2 sides of it, right? Like the biggest thing is you can do that and get results faster, but the results are likely unsustainable. Injuries are more likely to occur.
Yep.
You're going to put yourself in a position to have like mental breakdowns because your overall stress tolerance for things that cause stress, like finances and relationships and anything like that, is lower. That's just the reality of it. We only have a total amount of stress in a day that we can take on, and that's going to be along all lines. So we don't want to, if we overdo it physically, well, guess what? We need more sleep, less social time. Like that's where that balance really comes in. Sorry, there's comments and questions.
Oh, let's do them up.
I think. I don't want this notification on to do that. Where? Did you say where? Oh well. If anyone's asked where we are, we're at my recovery lab. You're right here, doing a little dip. Maybe next time we'll do a sauna because it's less stressful. How you doing?
I'm actually not too bad now.
Okay.
I'm starting to numb.
Yeah, the numb part's my favorite.
But there are certain places on my body that I can feel the cold still in patches. It's really weird.
Blood flow portion. Yeah, my arms weren't doing it today. I just didn't want to. But I think the biggest thing we wanted to hammer on right at the beginning, we said, is consistency versus intensity. If you're consistent, your intense days will come. When we talk training for athletes and we talk progression, it's actually taught in a lot of the circles that you want to do 2 really intense days a week, and those are the days that you're going to get most of your progress on. The rest of it is more around conditioning the body to get ready for those 2 days, and then we talk about recovery. So
if you think you have to go all out every day, tear your body apart, the guys that are doing that you're watching, they're having more than a protein shake in the morning.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing is just to remember, like, if you're not going to the gym at all, going to the gym 3 days a week is a huge step. If you're not,
This is also where the 80-20 rule can be plugged in.
exactly. So anything that you want to do, if you're not starting something in regards to that, whether it's reading about it, doing some research, having a conversation about it, going out and actionably putting something out there, you're just putting yourself a day behind. And then the next step is like, well, I gotta wait for this, I gotta wait for that, I gotta do this and that, then you're stuck. How you doing?
Not bad. Try to keep myself zen.
It's the exhale.
Yeah. Yeah. So reframing like consistency versus intensity for personal development overall, not just in fitness. Consistency, I feel, is focusing on the grand scheme of things, striving to be 1% better every day. Whether that means that you decide to, half portion food that you know you're not supposed to be eating. Whether you decide to, add an extra 5 minutes of cardio at the gym. Whether it means that you decide to take a longer way to work just to change your perspective and break the cycle of your monotonous routine. 1% is not a lot in one day, but over a year, that's 365% of the change. You can literally change your entire life in 1 year.
And I know for me, and like what I have the conversation with a lot of people is, it's not about linear progress, constant, consistent, like every day. It's about upping your average. Because we've talked about it, right? Like there's gonna be weeks where maybe you get sick. There's gonna be weeks where your motivation is at like just an all-time low. You've got life stuff happening, all these things. It's okay to stay static, and it's okay to even come down a little bit. But if you do things with routine, consistency, a plan, program for us fitness guys, whatever it is, it gives you the vehicle. As soon as you're right back on track, then you start moving up again. And by the end of the year, like Dylan said, you up your average enough, you're gonna feel like a whole new person. So it's all about upping your average. When you have a bad week, bad day, zoom out a little bit, because if you had 5 good days before that bad one, that's fine. Guess what? Tomorrow is a good day. And then we just roll on.
And inherently, on that day that you're having a bad day, you don't torture yourself and hate yourself for not following through the next day. You're not just doing 1% better, because you're not hating on yourself. You're accepting that, you know what, today feeling a little low, and you're gonna go easy on yourself. That is an improvement, because we are so damn hard on ourselves. And I promise you, you're harder on yourself than anybody else has an expectation of you. This is something that was a really hard thing for me to accept, because I was very much like that. It was always go, go, go. What can I do more? What can I do better? I'm not doing good enough. And a good question to frame yourself anytime you find yourself justifying is this action or thought coming from a place of love, or is it coming from a place of fear? And that is going to change the scope of perspective in what it's doing. So when you need to take a day off at the gym, ask yourself, if you're struggling to take that day off, is it coming from a place of love or fear? If it's coming from a place of fear, then that means you're not supposed to do it. If you need to take a day off and you're like, you know what, I worked hard this week and you deserve that day off at the gym, that's coming from a place of love. And that shift of perspective will change your entire life. I promise you this.
It makes everything so much less critical. Like, I don't want us, like, people to think that we're just like, hey, you can't be critical of yourself. We want you to be critical. We want you to like learn and push yourself to be better. But we don't want you to do it from a place of fear, a place of hate, a place of loathing, a place of anything negative. It's got to be done in a positive light. Like, you have to be able to look at, well, I need a break, I had a good week, or maybe something's wrong. Maybe I've got to up my vitamins, drink more water, and have some soup to offset the fact that I might be making myself sick by working too hard. So little things like that, that's all progress. And understanding that if you don't have these regular conversations with people that are in these journeys, that you're gonna miss a lot of things because you might not even know what you're looking for, right? So that's why I know we're huge on, you've got like,
Really? That's it?
well, because when did I get out? 11? 10? I got out 10, right?
Yeah.
10. We're at 20, and you got in at like 10:30.
Jumped in.
10:30, yeah. It probably took me 30 minutes to get my ass out of that thing. 30 seconds, but that's the huge thing. Is like there's so many more positives, so many more wins that we have that can just come to light by having a conversation with someone that's been there, or somebody that is more apt or has more experience looking for those positives, looking for the wins.
And we're here for that. We're not here claiming that we're experts. We're here saying and sharing our experience that we had, the wins and losses that we
15 seconds.
have gone through. And so that's why this stuff is important.
That's why it's a conversation. It's not a, what do you want to call it, a monologue?
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah, you're good.
Woo!
Cruising.
Boy, go a little wobbly.
Yeah. Yeah, the first steps. Something.
Okay.
How's that?
Gold.
Any ending sentiments?
Oh man. Well, if you enjoy us torturing ourselves, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. You know, send us some questions, some topics that you want us to converse on. And promise you, we'll get to them. And a lot of these things, as of I just found out today, they're gonna start hitting TV.
Perfect. And thank you to My Recovery Lab for the tip. And
Absolutely.
If, you guys can book this thing online. If you've never tried it, just head on over to their website and yeah, come try it out. We will come with you.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Take care. Coach Wolverine, Coach Cologne is signing out.
Cheers.